Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Checkpoint. Yes, I'm really excited to be in your face again. Is your host, Dr. Ifoma Eze, and I'm excited to be back here on Checkpoint. How have you been? Hope you're doing great. Now, I want to start Checkpoint as usual, and I like to always start by saying thank you, and thank you again to all the people that make us happen. Thank you so much for your likes. Thank you for your shares. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Because of all that you do, our message is reaching a wider audience. And for this, I want to really say thank you, and thank you again. Now, you know how we roll here at Checkpoint. So before I bring you a very interesting topic for today, I'd like you to do as usual. Go ahead, share the link, like, comment, share the link to everyone you know. Share to your friends, your relations, your associates, and your neighbors. Tell them that it's time for Checkpoint. And I'm really excited because I have a topic that will make a lot of sense to you, right? So before I begin to talk about the topic, I'd like you to please go ahead, share, and share. Please don't leave this particular page, don't leave this particular station, don't leave this particular video, don't leave this particular audio because I will be right back after the break to share with you the topic that I have for today. Don't go anywhere. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Checkpoint. Now, today's Checkpoint, we have a topic that would make you happy. All right. So, today we'll be talking about the 10 wrong assumptions people make in relationships and marriage. 10 wrong assumptions people make in relationships and in marriage. That's what we'll be talking about today. And you may have been in a relationship, you may currently be in a relationship, or you may be married. And for everyone who fits into these different categories, this video is for you. I like you to listen if you're listening with rapt attention. I like you to watch if you're watching with rapt attention because there is something you're going to be picking home from this particular video. Are you ready? Are you sure you are ready? So, and you remember what my title is? My title is 10 Wrong Assumptions That People Make in Marriage or in Relationships or in marriage. So today, I like to open your eyes or enlighten you because it's possible you already know some of these wrong assumptions. And I like you to just quickly drop for me in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about some of these wrong assumptions. And if I mentioned something that you think, well, this is not a wrong assumption, please let me know. All right. So please, I'll be sharing 10 of them with you, and I want you to listen attentively. I want you to watch with rapt attention because it will make a lot of sense. Okay, so number one wrong assumption that people make in relationships and in marriage is that they assume that boss at work equals boss at home. Let me say this again. They assume that boss at work equals boss in the marriage or boss in the relationship. Let me say this again. They assume that boss at work equals boss in the relationship or boss in the marriage. Please, I want you to know that you may have risen in your career, you may have been doing well in your career, and then you've gotten to the point where you are a boss. Now, the fact that you are at work bossing people around, bossing people who are paid to remain in that job around does not mean that you get back to your relationship and begin to boss your partner. Even if you are the head in quotes, even if you are the head, and because you are the male, you are the head, and you have the leadership position, that does not still give you the right to boss your partner around in relationship or in marriage. Nobody gets married to be bossed around. I like you to type that right now. Yes, type it. I'm looking at it. I want to watch your comments. I want to read your comments. Okay. The fact that you are a boss at your workplace does not mean that you have to also be a boss in your relationship. The fact that you are a boss and you are bossing people around, you are the one in charge, you are the one taking decisions alone, you are taking the final decision and stuff like that. In your marriage, in your relationship, there is need for great adjustment. You have to deliberately and intentionally readjust your style, readjust your pattern, readjust the way you speak to the person you are in a relationship with. And the worst case scenario is a lady who is now a boss at work, assuming that because she is a boss at work, she can comfortably also be a boss in her relationship or in her marriage. In marriage, God has ordained that a man be the head of that relationship. And this is God's order. And we, as people who follow God, who believe in God, who live in according to the standards of God, we do as God has instructed. So, what do we do? As a woman, you submit to your husband. In marriage, as a man, you lead. All right. But there's a difference between leading and bossing. I must say this very, very intentional. The fact that you are a leader does not mean you should boss your partner in a relationship. You should does not mean you should boss your wife in a relationship. So there's a difference between being a leader and being a boss. Don't boss her, lead her. Okay? No woman wants to be bossed around. She wants to be led. And you, woman who wants to be led, show that you want to be led by being submissive. It's just as simple as that. So don't take your job title home. You might be CEO, you might be CMD, you might be a general manager or whatever. Please don't take your title home. Don't take your title home. Make sure that you leave the title where it belongs at work and come back home to your spouse and come back to your relationship and be a real partner. All right. Work together, work things out, and everything will be fine. Is that okay? All right. So let's talk about number two. Number two, wrong assumptions that people make in relationships and in marriage is assuming that success in career is synonymous with success in marriage or relationship. They assume that success in career is synonymous with success in marriage or success in relationship. You might be a high flyer at your workplace. You might be somebody who is succeeding, back to back promotions, back to back increase in levels, back to back advancement in your career. But that does not mean that you are going to have back to back success in your relationship or in your marriage. Which brings me to the point that you have to make it work. Relationship, marriage is something that you have to make work. They don't function on autopilot. They don't uh, thrive on their own. You have to intentionally and deliberately make sure that your marriage and your relationship is working. Nobody is going to do this for you. It is you who is in the relationship that is going to intentionally and deliberately work at it. Somebody said the other day that marriage is work, and it is work not for the intellectual, it is work for the foolish, for the ones that people describe as fools. You know why? Because it takes somebody who is actually a fool to not think of himself or herself and do something for the other person. You don't need to be, when you are too wise and too intellectual, you are thinking of what can happen. You're thinking of what if it does not come true? If she does not stand with me to the end? And then you're making plan Bs and plan Cs and plan Ds concerning your relationship or marriage. That is not healthy in any way. It's not healthy in any way. You have to deliberately and intentionally see that marriage as something you want it to last for a lifetime. You want it to last for your entire lifetime. And that is why you have to come to that point where you understand that success in career is not synonymous with success in marriage or success in a relationship. So the fact that you are succeeding there means that you put in work to be succeeding in at your career. You did work, you put in effort, you were deliberate, you were intentional, and that is why you are succeeding in your career, which also tells me that for you to succeed in your marriage or in your relationship, you have to be intentional about it, you have to be deliberate about it, put in the work necessary in order to make this person that you are in a relationship with or in marriage with to stay with you till the ends of time. So there is work involved in both. The fact that you put work in one does not mean that automatically the second one will begin to succeed without you putting work in it. So number three wrong assumptions that people make in marriage or in relationship is that they assume that their marriage or relationship will work just because they are believers. Let me say this one again. People assume that their relationship will work out, that their marriage will work out simply because they are believers. And I want to tell you that is absolutely not true. The fact that you both are believers does not exempt you from the work necessary to make relationship work. The fact that you both are believers does not exempt you from abiding by the principles that make marriage work. You have to also abide by the principles. You have to be deliberate about it. You have to do what you need to do in order to make the marriage or your relationship work. I know you are believers. Well, because you are believers, there is the God factor. Okay, so with prayers, trusting God, fellowship with God, and hoping and believing God for the word He has said, I know that there are elements of your relationship or marriage that will work. But I want you to also know that marriage and relationships are not entirely a spiritual affair. That there is an element of physicality involved. There's an element of emotions involved. There's an element of your psychological situation involved in making that relationship or marriage work, which brings me to the point that says that it's not just about the spiritual, it is also about taking care of the other aspects. Like you might be very spiritual, but if you keep a wrong, dirty kind of hygiene, very poor kind of hygiene, the person you are in a relationship with or a marriage with might just leave you and run. Imagine you saying, "Oh, I'm always fasting. I fast every day from morning till 6 p.m. You don't brush your teeth is smelling, and you want somebody to live with you like that for the rest of your life." You are kidding, right? It's not going to work. It's not even possible. You need to know that beyond your spirituality, there needs to be a balance of the other aspect, the psychological aspect, the physical aspect, all right? Because attraction is essential. And these are not things you will toy with in your relationship. These are not things you should play with at all. So please, and please, and please, don't assume that your relationship will just work out because you are believers. If you are a believer but you're not kind, your relationship will not thrive. If you're a believer but you are a wife beater, if you're a believer but you are a man beater, your relationship will not work, your marriage will not thrive. If you are a believer but you are the kind of person that is so selfish, I want to tell you, I want to assure you, there are believers who are super selfish. So if you're that kind of believer and you are super selfish, I want to tell you that your relationship will never work, because there is a lot of selflessness that is needed for any relationship to thrive, for any marriage to grow and get better and become more blissful. And this is not something you have to joke with. So spirituality alone will not do it for you. Spirituality alone will not cut it. You need to balance yourself, be a whole person. Make sure that you are balanced on other sides of your life, other sides of your personality. That would make for a good relationship or a good marriage. I know we believe a lot in God, but let me tell you, any religion that expects God to be the only one solely responsible for any outcome in life is a very wrong kind of religion. And Christianity is not that religion. All right. In Christianity, there is a God part and there is a you part. Let me say this again. Even in Christianity, there is a God part and there is a you part. God will do his own part. You too, as a person, need to also do your own part. This is how we get it to work. This is how we get it to be. Because for that relationship or marriage to work, God would have done his own part, and you, as an individual, both of you as partners in that marriage, in that relationship, will have to play your own role. So this is how we make it happen. All right, so let's talk about number four. Number four, wrong assumption that people make in relationships and in marriage. Number four is assuming that emotional affair is not cheating. Should I say this one again? Assuming that emotional affair is not cheating. Do you know that there are a lot of people who are married, but they are seriously flirting? They are flirting with people they know. They are flirting with people at their workplace. They are flirting with people around them. They are flirting with neighbors. They are flirting with their colleagues at the workplace. And they are doing it because they love the attention they get. They love the fact that somebody else is blushing or feeling the same way. And they say, well, it's cool. I haven't done anything yet, but I have not cheated. So it's just there. It's just an emotional level. Let me tell you this: everyone, every individual, every man, every woman who has ever been caught in adultery, who has ever been caught cheating, they didn't just stand up one morning and said, oh, today is the day I begin to cheat. That did not happen. They didn't just wake up and said, oh, in fact, this is the day appointed for me to start cheating. They never did that. Do you know what happened? They started with subtle emotional affairs. A little flirting there, a little flirting there, getting new pictures, posting pictures that are suggestive, wearing things that are suggestive, taking actions, behaving in certain ways that suggest to the other person that they are interested, somewhat interested in what they have to offer. And they said, well, I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't done any harm. Well, what I'm just doing is just to feel good about myself, to work on my self esteem. Let me tell you, this is no way to work on your self esteem. If you really want to work on your self esteem, go and increase your capacity, go and build yourself up on all the other spheres. That is how you increase your capacity. You don't feel good about yourself by just flirting around, engaging in emotional affair and assuming that it does not matter and assuming that the other person is not feeling anything. Listen to me, you are leading somebody on. And you can't be leading somebody on and acting like you don't know what it is you are doing. So do not assume that emotional affair is not cheating. The moment you set out to send and receive those suggestive SMS, those suggestive WhatsApp messages, you are calling the person using such certain tone of voice that is suggesting that you are interested in a certain thing, meanwhile you are not. These are the things that you do, and you assume that you are not cheating yet. Let me tell you, everyone who has been caught in adultery started just like you are. You are set on a pattern of progression. You are on a progression wheel. Soon you will find yourself exactly where you have been preparing yourself to be for a long time. So if you are married, avoid emotional affair. Do not lead anyone on. If they are liking you, like them back, but please clearly set boundaries. Let them know you are married, you are happily married, and you do not have any intention of destroying what you already have. Tell them you're in a relationship and you're working towards being married, and because of that, you do not have any space for anyone else in your life. Set boundaries. Be clear. Do not lead anyone on unnecessarily. Let people know that these are my boundaries. This is not what I mean. This is not what I want. This is not what I intend. All right. Don't send your nudes to anybody and don't collect nudes from another person. Okay. Don't send suggestive messages. Don't ask somebody. Don't drop any lines and feel that you're doing it. That thing you are doing, it is something you are supposed to do with your married spouse. Focus. Somebody once came to me and said, well, we're in a relationship and we're planning to get married, but he's been cheating, and he said that the reason why he's cheating is because that we are not yet married. So because he's not getting it from me, that he needs to find a way to sustain himself until he gets married to me. And I was like, what? And you listen to that crap. So what happens on the day you are ill? What happens on the day you are incapable of giving him what he wants? What happens to the day that you have to travel for work or travel for business? What happens when you are not there? Maybe you have to go to school or travel to another location for an executive meeting. What then happens? So you cannot make excuses for a cheat. Somebody who has been cheating with you. In fact, there's a particular a story that comes to mind. It's not a story. Oh. When I call it story, it's something that happened to somebody and I knew about it. This lady came to me after she was married, fair, tall, beautiful lady, and she was crying and telling me that she doesn't know why her husband was misbehaving in that manner. I was like, okay, tell me about it. What's happening? I said that he's not sleeping with younger girls. I said, but wait, several years ago, I knew you. You were the younger girl that your husband was sleeping with, and he left his wife who was sick because of that. His wife got ill. Because of that, she was not in any position to be able to give him any meet his sexual need. And you were the lady, the mistress that he was sleeping with. Now his wife is dead and gone, and he married you, and he's not sleeping with younger girls. And I'm asking, you knew this guy as a cheat. You married him as a cheat. In fact, you married him as a reward for cheating on his wife, right? He was cheating with you. And because it was you, it was just okay. You married him to reward him for looking in your direction when he was still married to somebody else. And eventually, when he got married to you, the wife now died, and now you are crying over another young girl he's living with. Like, what do you expect him to do? You just want him to like change overnight? How is that even possible? So please, please, and please again, emotional affair is cheating. The moment you are suggesting words, suggesting pictures, suggesting videos, suggesting some of those crazy things, and even doing sexting, all right, and making messages or calls with such tone of voices to suggest something, see, you are already cheating. Because cheating does not start physically, it starts from the mind. And Jesus even concurred by saying to us very clearly that any man that the Old Testament told us that when a man sleeps with a woman, that's when they have actually committed fornication. He said, believe me, that even when you are still thinking it in your heart, when you look at her suggestively, when you look at him somehow, you are already committing that same sin. So please, I want to tell you that don't take, if you don't want to end there, don't start here. It's simple. If you don't want to end the cheating, don't start with emotional affect. All right, let me share with you number 5 wrong assumptions that people make in relationships and in marriage. They assume that selflessness will come to them naturally. Assuming that selflessness will come to you naturally. Let me tell you, there is nothing natural about selflessness. So the first instinct anyone would do will have is to think about themselves first. Look out for themselves first. Think about this thing I'm doing with this person. What do I stand to benefit from it? What do I stand to gain from it? What do I stand to derive from it? So selfishness is inherent in human beings. I don't care how selfless you are, there is still a part of you that thinks about yourself. And it's not bad, because we need that aspect to also have self love. If you do not have any iota of selfishness, you won't be able to even love yourself, because a day will come when you will need to choose yourself first. But let's go back to the selflessness matter. There is no chance that you will automatically become selflessness. All right, selfless. So this is why you cannot wrongly assume that selflessness comes to us natural. It's not a natural gift, it's not a natural ability, which means that it is a deliberate ability. It is something you train yourself to be. Now, I want you to sit back and think about this. If you're still in a relationship, you're not yet married, sit back and think about it. Choose this one person. Choose the him. Choose the her. Choose the he. Choose the she, that for the rest of your life you are going to sacrifice. Choose that one person in your life that you're going to be willing to lose to. Choose that one person in your life that you can be a fool for. This is how we truly become selfless in marriage. And let me assure you, No two selfish people can succeed in marriage. No one selfish person can comfortably succeed in marriage. If you want marriage to thrive, if you want marriage to succeed, then there has to be elements of selflessness. A point where you no longer consider only yourself, you consider the other person above yourself. This is what makes marriage work. This is what makes marriage tick. I don't care who is teaching you the opposite or teaching you the wrong thing. There has to be levels of selflessness. Even the Bible says in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 21, that you submitting yourselves one to another. You have to submit. Even the things you want, even your desires, even your hopes, your dreams. A time comes you have to submit some things. And this is very, very important. All right. So let's talk about number six. Number six wrong assumptions that people make in relationships and in marriage is that they assuming that your partner will change after marriage. Did you enter one chance bus? Don't assume that your partner will change after marriage. People are who they are on the inside. People have always argued that when somebody has power or money, it changes them. But let me tell you the honest truth. When people have money and when they have power, it doesn't change them. It just reveals who they truly were. All right. Somebody once said that you should not assume you are a good person until you have the money and the power to fulfill your fantasies. All right. You have enough power, enough money to fulfill the things that you call fantasies. You should not assume that you are a good person. And I honestly believe that because money and power does not change us, it just reveals who we truly are on the inside. And this is something I have always believed. And I think you also believe that too. So to buttress this point, your partner will not change after marriage. Your spouse will not change after marriage. Your husband will not change after marriage. Your wife will not change after marriage. It's a wishful thinking. It's a complete waste of time for you to sit back and assume that this person who has always been who he is or who has always been who she is will just automatically wake up in marriage because they're married to you. Something restructures their brain, the moment they collect the certificate, something, a chemical compound gets into their brain, gets injected in their brain, and then something now automatically changes, and then they become nicer people, and they become kinder people, and they become more intentional and deliberate with you. It doesn't happen like that. A good person will only become better. A bad person will only become worse. So please be careful. If you are not yet married, don't get married to somebody and assume he's going to do better when he is married to you. A particular lady shared with me sometime about how she married a guy who was sleeping with everybody, like everything. And then he said to her that when they get married, that it's going to reduce because by then that she will be satisfying him properly. And she believed it. Can you just imagine? Who is fooling who? All right? It's impossible. You are who you are. Huh? Don't expect a wife beater, somebody who is beating you in a relationship, to stop beating you when you're married. How can he be beating you blue black now that you're not married? And then when you get married, you assume, oh, he's just going to become a nicer and kinder person. It's not going to work. A woman who is always shouting, who is always angry, very hot tempered. You say, well, why she's hot tempered is because she has not been laid. When we get married, she will be laid and then she will calm down. You are deceiving yourself. A person who is hot tempered and needs to work on anger management. So please and please and please, I like you to take note that nobody really changes after they get married. So if what you are seeing at this point of relationship is not what you want, please vamoose, run, escape for your dear life. Capish? Let's talk about number seven. Number seven wrong assumptions that people make in relationships and in marriage is that they assume that their friends love them more than their partner. Let me say this again. Assuming your friends love you more than your partner. Many have assumed this, when the marriage begins to get strained a little, there's a little misunderstanding here and there. They begin to assume that their friends love them more than their spouses. What your friends do not know is that living with you as a spouse is complicated. Living with you as a spouse is difficult. And sometimes, because they're just friends with you, they do not understand the gravity of being your spouse. Some of you who are friends with certain people, if you were asked to marry them, even you will say, God forbid. Because even being friends with them is already difficult, not to talk of being married to them. This is why. When your friend is telling you, why are you giving your wife that kind of room? Me, I am the head of my family. I am the head of my relationship. I can deal with my wife. I show her that I am the one that is in charge. Please be careful because some of them might not even be touching their wives at all. Okay? When your friends are telling you, oh, why would you take that from a man? Me, I cannot take that from any man. I cannot. No man can treat me like that. Listen to me. It is possible that they are even licking the toes of the men they are married to, and they are lying to you so that you can quit your marriage. Be wiser than the devils. And sometimes the devil will not come to you wearing long horns and long tails and having red eyes. He may not come to you like that. Sometimes the people you call friends might be the ones pushing you out. Last week, I heard about a lady who heard that her friend was having a wedding, and she decided to surprise her friend and attend the venue only for her to meet the guy she was in a relationship with, who told her that he traveled. She got to the venue to surprise her friend, and lo and behold, she was the one who was surprised, who fainted, and people were pouring water on her. Terrible things are happening. When she was asked what happened, she said that this particular friend has been advising her to leave the guy, to not give him room anymore in her life. But she was saying, oh, well, let me give him another chance. Let me give him a chance to prove that he's really a good person. And this guy then said, okay, I'll be traveling. She bade him farewell, has been calling him every day to know how he's doing, not knowing that the person he's calling has been preparing wedding with her best friend. Just imagine. Things are happening. No. So please do not assume that your friends love you more than your spouse. Sometimes they're just looking for ways to make room for themselves. And you know that it's the person who is closer to you that can kill you faster than somebody who is far away from you. This is why you have to be very careful, you have to be very intentional, you have to be very, very deliberate about your relationships and your marriage. There are people that should be in your inner space, and there are people that you should keep at the outer court of your marriage, at the outer court of your relationship, because they have nothing good to offer to you. Is that okay? All right. Let's talk about number 8. Number 8, wrong assumption that people make in relationships and in marriage is that assuming that your partner is not attractive or attracted to others. Hey, let me not laugh too much at this one. Never assume that your partner is not attractive or attracted to others. The fact that they are married to you, or the fact that they are already in a relationship with you, does not mean their eyes are blind. They are not blind. They meet people every day. They meet new people every day. They get to meet people that they like. They get to meet people that are attractive to them. They also get to meet people that are attracted to them. So, in this case, you need to be wise and know that the person I'm in a relationship with, my husband, my wife, they meet people every day, and sometimes this thing called attraction happens. But the truth of the matter is this: attraction is not the problem. You can be attracted to a beautiful lady, you can be attracted to a handsome guy, but that does not mean you should have anything to do with him or her. The fact that you're attracted to them means that, well, they look appealing, they look nice, they sound the way you like, but that does not mean that you are going to destroy the relationship you already have for their sake. But assuming that because your husband is married to you, you cannot see fine girls, you're lying to yourself, you're deceiving yourself. That is why you have to keep working intentionally, deliberately on who you are. You keep working intentionally, deliberately on your capacity, on your looks, on how you relate with your spouse. Because you don't just say, "Oh, I'm married. The work ends here. I have nothing else to do." Oh, you now begin to behave anyhow. You have poor hygiene. You don't take care of yourself. You don't care about your body. You don't care about how your spouse perceives you. You don't tune in to know how they are feeling part time because you are married. You would fail woefully in that marriage because there are a lot of factors that make any marriage or relationship to thrive. Did you get that? All right. So it is very important that you never assume that your partner is not attracted or attractive to others. That thing in your spouse, that thing in your partner that you're looking down on, there is somebody out there, somebody who just met her last week, somebody who just met him last week, and they are asking themselves, why didn't I meet this person earlier? Why didn't I see him earlier? Why didn't I meet her earlier? This guy, this lady is everything I want in a man or in a woman. They're saying this because they've had an encounter with your partner, with your spouse, and they love what they see, and they appreciate who they are. They appreciate their kind of reasoning. So don't treat your spouse wrongly. Don't look down on them. Don't undermine them. don't don't invalidate their feelings, because there is somebody out there who is dying to have what you already have. And that is why you cannot trivialize their relationship or their presence in your life. I'm sure you may have watched this skit. It's a skit, I've seen it before, and more than once, and I'm sure you may have seen it. It's on social media, where a lady was angry with a guy, and she was throwing his things out, throwing his bags out, throwing his luggages out, just throwing him and pushing him out. He should leave the house. And as she was about to lock the door, another lady who was her neighbor came, cleaned up the guy, and was packing his things very quickly into her own room. It sounds very hilarious and funny, but it's real. That person you are rejecting, somebody else wants him, somebody else wants her. Very quickly, she was just packing his things inside her house, and then she was about to drag him inside. When the lady opened the door, I was like, What I tried to do?" She now went back and brought him back in, and then started collected the luggage from the other lady neighbor who was already packing the things inside. I said, "Please give me back my man, give me back my my man's property." So it was really funny, but I'm telling you, I assure you, you may think he's no longer worth anything. You may think she's no longer worth anything. But I assure you that that person you are throwing out, you are throwing away, you are despising, that they really are of value to others. All right. So please remember that they are attractive, and they can also be attracted to others. But remember, I said this does not give room for flirting. This does not give room for adultery in your relationship. This does not give room for fornication. You have to know who you are committed to and remain committed there, right? It's just attraction. That's what it is. And it will fizzle away. Attraction is not a strong basis for marriage. Attraction is not a basis for a proper relationship. Attraction is not the foundation, it's not even the bedrock for any thriving relationship. It's just one of the factors, but not all of the factors. Do you understand that? Okay. Okay, let's talk about number nine. Number nine, wrong assumption that people make in relationship or in marriage. Number nine is assuming that your partner will meet all your needs in marriage or in relationship. You assume, oh, now that found the perfect person. He's going to do that for me. He's going to do this for me. He's going to take care of all my family members. He's going to take care of all my siblings. He'll take care of my father, my mother, my cousin, my nieces, and stuff like that. See, you are getting married to a human being, not a burden bearer, not a no, not a beast of burden. Rather, you are getting married to a human being, not a beast of burden. He's just one person. He cannot take care of your whole village, no matter how wealthy he is. Okay, so when you're getting married, don't get married like that and then assume that they're going to meet all your needs. You should also have room for family, other family members in your life. You should also have room for friends, and have room for colleagues at work. All of these different kinds of relationships have a role to play in your life. You don't assume that because I got married to this person, oh, she's a superwoman, she's good, she's versatile in everything, and she's going to meet all your needs. Please wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. You are sleeping, you are dreaming. Okay? So wake up. She is just one human being. He is just one human being. You're not going to do everything that has to be done in your life. So never assume that your partner will meet all your needs. Yes, your partner will meet some of your needs, but certainly not all of your needs. Your partner will meet some of your needs in your life, but not all of your needs. So please be watchful, be careful, be deliberate, and be intentional. Know that your partner is there to meet some needs, but they will certainly not meet all your needs. There are other relationships that should be in your life, your support system, your colleagues, your friends, your neighbors, your family members, all right? Different people in your life that should be there to make sure that your life is whole and complete. Is that okay? So please take note of that. Never forget that because no one person, I assure you, no one person can meet all your needs. Let me tell you this: you are responsible for your own happiness. You are responsible for your own joy. Nobody is going to make you joyful. Nobody's just going to make you happy. All right, they can attempt once in a while, but if the happiness and the joy does not fuel up from inside you, if it does not rise up from inside you, then something is wrong because nothing artificial lasts. No matter who tries to come into your life, no matter what they try to tell you part time, they will not solve all your problems. So you need to know how to generate internal happiness. You need to generate your happiness. You need to make yourself happy. Look for things to make you happy. Look for what you can do to make you happy. And I've talked about issues of surrounding happiness in my previous videos. So I'm not going to dwell so much on this, but always know this that your partner will not meet all your needs, but your partner will certainly meet some of your needs. After all, why is he or she a partner? Is that okay? So make sure that that is already happening, taken care of in your life. Let me tell you the last one, but not the least. If you have been following this video from the beginning till now, please drop your comments. Let me know which one you think is the most relatable. All right, which are the points you think is the most relatable point, and if you have other things, other wrong assumptions that you think I have not added in the video, please go ahead and add it. We are all here to learn, and I'm excited to also learn from you. Put it in the comment section. We'll talk about it. I will certainly read it, and then we'll learn from each other. Is that okay? All right. So remember, we're talking about wrong assumptions that people make in relationships and in marriage. And for number 10, the wrong assumption that people make in relationships and in marriage is assuming that you cannot be successful in career and be successful in your marriage at the same time. What a wrong, erroneous belief. Somebody told me some time ago that you cannot have it all. As a woman, you cannot have it all. If you succeed in your career, you have to fail in your family life. If you succeed in family life, you have to fail in career. And I thought that, please, where are you from? Where are you getting that information from? Because there are lots and lots of women who are achieving great things while being married and still doing, taking care of their career and taking care of their family members. Okay, you have to learn how to be able to become all things to all men. All right, knowing how to balance your life out, knowing how to meet different needs and meet different situations. All right, take control of different situations. Yes, let me tell you, let me break this jinx once and for all. Let me break this narrative and destroy this narrative once and for all and tell you that yes, you watching me right now, you can be successful in your career and you can still be successful in your family life. It's a possibility. There are so many people out there who are already doing it. Look at the woman I called Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. This woman has achieved so much. She is the current Director General of the World Trade Organization all over the world, right? She's not a national figure, she's a global figure, and then despite that, she has raised her children well. They are breaking forth and breaking territories and breaking shattering glass ceilings in all the fields that they have found themselves. This is a typical example of a woman who has really advanced so much in her career, and she's also doing well, excelling, succeeding in family life. I, for one, I consider myself in that category because all the things I am doing absolutely well. Being a pastor, being an author of over 90 books with my husband, having produced over 115 songs. I'm a proprietress, I'm a singer songwriter, I'm even an educationist. Okay, so with all of these things that I do, you know, I speak at different conferences, I teach emotional intelligence. With all of this, I still make out time to have quality time with my children, quality time with my sons, dedicating time to each and every one of them, knowing them individually, reaching out to them individually, making out time for them. This is a proof that you can still have it both ways. I am an excellent wife to my husband, an incredible mother to my sons, and I'm still doing the work of ministry very well and advancing in all the other things that I am doing. Now, you don't need to be a superwoman or superman to be able to do any of this things. All you need to do is just to have the will, and then the way will come. Have the will, and the way will come. I tell you, when you hold on to God and you hold on to gumption, you can never miss it in life. Hold on to God and never lose your courage. Never lose your desire to fight, your desire to push, your desire to persevere, even when you see no, even when you get negative responses, even when it looks like it's not going to work. Your desire to keep pushing until you get the right result will take you further and further in life. I am rooting for you because I know in my heart that you will excel, even in marriage, even in your career, in all the areas of your life. Even though that today's message is just a relationship message, I want to assure you that it cuts across every aspect of your life. Yes, you can succeed both ways. Yes, you can succeed in your career and still succeed in your relationship and in your marriage. It's all a matter of just knowing how to blend in, what to do per time, how to do it, when to structure yourself. All right, identifying when you're at work and when you're at home. Okay, don't be a boss at work and come back and be bossing your husband. Don't be a boss at work and come back and be bossing your wife. Creating balance, treating your children like they are children, not like they are subordinates at your workplace. It's all about balance. It's all about knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And it is my prayer that God gives you the wisdom necessary for you to advance in life, the wisdom necessary for you to build that relationship up, the wisdom necessary for you to have a marriage that is successful and thriving. I'm really excited for the opportunities that God will present your way to make you who you ought to be. And this is why I know in my heart of hearts that you will excel, that you will shine bright like the sun, and that all that concerns you will work out well, and the lines shall fall unto you in pleasant places. It's been a swell time speaking with you today on Checkpoint, and I know in my heart that from today and henceforth, you will do better because now you know better. If you join this video halfway, do not deceive yourself. Go back to the beginning of the video and watch till this very point. Don't watch half of the video and assume you have watched. Please gather your friends, your relations, your associates, and neighbors. Send them this link. It's not too late to send them the link. Let everyone learn from these wrong assumptions and do better. Now, this is all I decided to share with you today on Checkpoint. Until I come your way again, keep making a positive, indelible mark in the lives of people and on the sands of time. I love you so very much. Bye bye for now. Mwah. everyone. I hope you were blessed by that message. All right, so I want you to just go ahead and support us. If you are led, go ahead and just sow into the account right on the screen. And I know that as you do that, God will bless you big time. Because of the seeds you are sowing, you will be able to reach a wider audience on different platforms. So please do well to sow that seed, and God will bless you. Love you.